in an identical situation to when Luffy passed away and revived as Joy Boy, finally awakening his true powers, I'm going to speculate that Zoro is in fact on the brink of death, and we are seeing him go through a similar transformation that we witnessed Sanji and Luffy go through. He will not die, but will actually overcome death. There are a few theories that I believe could be the next steps in gaining power concerning Zoro, and I'm speculating that he will either literally defeat death, will be revived by a specific person, or will be seen fit to be granted even more power. With that being said, I will be speaking on some of the chapters that haven't been adapted into anime form, so now that you've been warned about spoilers, make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video and comment below with your thoughts and opinions. Now let's get into it. What I mean by the defeat of death can be taken a few different ways, as I mentioned previously, and if you can believe it, I came to this theory by watching episode 39 of the Arlong Park arc. The words that Zoro spoke to Hachi right before his victory has to be foreshadowing for what's to come in the future, revealing the last step in him becoming the world's greatest swordsman. What we've been presented with in this episode has solidified something in my head, especially when coupled with chapters 1036 and 1038. Now, when we jump forward into these series of chapters, it shows us that in the aftermath of the fight between himself and King, he is literally hanging on the last third of his life. And while he's lying there bleeding out, he's approached by what seems to be death itself. But I don't think it's exactly that simple. I'm going to theorize that the figure that we see in this chapter, it is not death, but it is the personification of the sword Enma in the form of death or a Shinigami. I have a suspicion that Zoro is going to receive an awakening of his own, but not through a devil fruit, but through somewhat of a possession. My theory here requires me to leave the world of One Piece and step into the world of Shinigami with Bleach. If my thoughts are correct, then that means that the sword that Zoro carries around has a mind and spirit of its own. I'm an overall believer and fan of this particular theory above all, and believe that Zoro will be fused with the energy of Enma, and as a result, finally becoming the embodiment of the king of the underworld. Finally being able to wield this sword without any drawbacks, because Zoro has proven his worth, and for the battle for control, he's ended up on top. And if this theory were to be true, then the Reaper that we see approaching Zoro could very well be a Shinigami, paralleling them by making an actual Shinigami the sword's true form. Just like in Bleach, we witnessed Soul Reapers having special swords called Zanpakuto, in which has a true form and a name that could be called upon to awaken greater power. Could Zoro actually be Pluton? And I know in one of my previous videos, which I'll leave a link in the description and in the title card, I've thrown out my idea of Zunisha being the ancient weapon Pluton, but I also have a secondary theory on that concerning Zoro. I won't get into that in this video right now, but I will be publishing that idea soon. Throughout the whole series, Zoro's energy has always been stated to be very dark and demonic, speculating that Zoro's life will be now tied to the sword in some type of way, and with his new attachment to death comes a whole new arsenal of attacks that we've never seen before. His attacks and his words have always foreshadowed his destiny. Looking at the very first time Zoro's most powerful attacks were introduced, which coincidentally have demon-like names as well as mythological deities like Asura. Asura being a Hindu deity, and not to mention how all of his dragon attacks correspond to Hindu stories of Dragon Vritra, which is the embodiment of evil and is also an Asura. Another idea that can be up for discussion, will also be my least favorite theory, is that Brook and Robin may stumble upon the body of Zoro, with Brook deciding to use his revive fruit to either revive Zoro at the cost of his own life or possibly merge with him, as we've seen in the Thriller Bark arc with Brook's soul and Ryuma's dead body. However, these are just my personal theories and speculations based off of what I've been seeing in the series so far. But what do you think? Will Zoro overcome death and become the king of the underworld, or will there be another act in saving his life? Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications on my future content. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on my next one. Peace out.